Oh man, if you skip this critical step in your Raid Shadow Legends account development, you're gonna end up with champion builds that look a little bit like this, right? Extremely slow nukers that are lacking crit rate, that are lacking crit damage. It's not just the He-Man on this account. The Alice the Wanderer is suffering from the same thing as well. And despite having, honestly, a pretty well built out roster with some great progression champs on this account, Mr. Son Zoro here is having an extremely hard time progressing anywhere, despite having great champions for taking on Fire Knight's Castle, great champions for taking on Dragon's Lair. We're going to see if we can make some progress in these dungeons along the way as well. Before we do, if you're looking to get off to a fresh start in Raid Shadow Legends with the best promo link in the world, then make sure to sign up to Raid right now and start off that new account in the month of March while this promo link is active. It's going to get you a triple legendary, triple epic champion start. Step 1 is to sign up to Raid using the promo link down below at the top of the video description box to grab yourself Elnaril as your starter legendary champion on your new account. All you got to do is sign up on this webpage right here, which will pop up once you click on that link, and good old Elnaril will be waiting for you in your new account's inbox as soon as you're done with the tutorial. You'll grab the epic champions including Ugo as you level up your account. Then you can enter the beginner promo code on day 1 of your new account, Supreme6, to get your hands on Supreme Gallic as one of your starting legendaries, and then to get your hands on Alice the Wanderer, all you gotta do is log into the game for 7 days. But that said, the Alice the Wanderer legendary champ is going to be expiring very soon. You only have until like the 27th, I think, of March to start a new account, so that you can actually start the Alice chase in time. Okay, so Mr. Son Zoro on this account takeover, he was actually originally asking for help into Demon Lord Clan Boss, which I thought was crazy as hell. Like, what do you mean, right? You've got the Michinaki on this account, you've got the Fane on this account, you've got the Farrakin on this account. So amazing Demon Lord Clan Boss killers on this account, right? Even the Kale was the starter champ, still sitting at level 50, and a Frozen Banshee as well. Like, everything on this account is geared for just smacking the Clan Boss all over the place. And yet we are currently stuck having to throw multiple keys into hard Demon Lord. Needless to say, oi, not the best scenario there, right? So why are we lacking so much damage? I did actually spend a little bit of time on the account trying to figure out what like the optimal Demon Lord Clan Boss team would be. The truth is we actually lack any good healers almost at all on the account for keeping a Demon Lord team alive, right? Just a little bit of team-wide healing or a leech debuffer. We just have neither on this account, which is a little bit crazy. But then I realized there's a way bigger problem than any of this, than the champions on this account, right? And it's all to do with the gear. Guys, oh my god. This right here is why I recommend so highly taking some time to blast some tournaments in the early game. What you're about to see, right, is an artifact stockpile of over 1,300 artifacts, okay? But if we go to rank and rarity, by the way, can I just say this account is actually, how old is this account? This account is approaching 6 months old, okay? It's just gone over 5 months old. 1,300 artifacts in storage. If we filter by 4-star or lower artifacts, 1,000 of our artifacts in storage are 4 stars or lower. Sweet Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cleanse the hell out of these, starting by doing something pretty gosh darn drastic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sell straight up everything that isn't boots and that is 4-star lower, 4 stars or lower on this account. We're sitting on nearly 11 million silver here just by doing this. These artifacts are no good, okay? These artifacts are not good for us anymore. As long as you can farm stage 10 dungeons, you can then just start keeping 5-star plus artifacts and start building your account based on those 5-star or higher artifacts, right? This account is well equipped to be taking on, honestly, stage 20 dungeons in some case with the champions that we've got. It's just these artifacts that are holding us back. Now, there are about 3 or 4 artifacts here in all of these that we're about to sell off that I actually am going to hold on to because I have them planned out to use in some of the champion rebuilds that we're going to do. So there are some little suckers like this little perception weapon right here that's got like speed accuracy rolls. That's going to be an exception to the rule. But the rest of these have just got to go. Okay, maybe I'll make some exceptions for 4-star artifacts that are like epic or higher that have been rolled up to 16. Just out of respect for the silver that's been spent on them. The rest of these though, one deep breath. Gone. Okay, gone. We've just massively increased the average power of gear on this account just by doing that, technically speaking. So next up we're going to move to the boots as well. And so what we're going to do next with the boots is same thing. 4-star or lower artifacts are basically going to have to go, except we will make an exception for boots with speed stats. I don't even have to look at any of these boots. I already know that they're all terrible. yeah, you just want to be collecting as many 5-star or higher speed primary stat boots as you possibly can. And that's something I'm going to touch on a little bit later on in the video. What actually makes an artifact good? What makes an artifact good for a certain set, right? Because a 5-star speed artifact is looking for different stats to something like a cruel artifact on your account. And I think the real lesson here is, look, man, if you're starting off a new account in Raid, right, or maybe you just haven't got to this step yet and you're looking to catch up on your gear supplies, how do you go about it? Well, as soon as you've got a champion team set up, right, couple of damage dealers up to level 60, maybe an extra like support champion or 10-meter controller champ, something like a Farrakin or a Deacon or whatever, up to level 60, and then you've got like a speed booster like a Hiker Toon. So you've got a few level 60s on your account and you've built your first sort of core champion team with a couple damage dealers, a few supports, that kind of thing. At that point, you gotta start competing in dungeon tournaments, okay? You have to start playing the game by event, at least every now and again, right? What's actually going on right now, what I'm going to recommend straight away to Mr. Zoro, is to take part in this dragon tournament. Why? Because dragon tournaments are great because they offer a chance to drop speed gear. And it's also like a 2x drop chance, I think, on speed gear during this particular dragon tournament. So that's great. You're going to get one of the best artifact sets in the game at an increased drop rate in the dragon tournament dungeon. You're also going to be double dipping into a dungeon divers event as well. And you're going to be earning extra rewards from just farming artifacts for the dungeon divers event too. But also, in 12 hours, the clan versus clan tournament's going to start as well. And so you're going to be triple dipping in terms of value and in terms of free rewards and like points in various events that you are farming if you are farming dungeons, if you're farming the dragon tournament as of tomorrow. So one of the very first things I'm going to do with the silver that we've just earned from selling off all of our gear is start building up our dragon team. Now again, this account takeover, I was instructed to spend a bunch of time trying to figure out how do we increase our Demon Lord clan boss damage. We can't, okay? I don't think that we can. Maybe we can by a little bit, but not by much. Not only do we lack a good, reliable healer, we don't have any like good ally protect champions or increased defense champions that haven't been like fully booked out yet. We're just not ready to start progressing more in Demon Lord clan boss just yet. The gear is going to be a huge, huge part of that as well. And so I think it's a much, much higher priority that we start building these champions right here in these teams that I've just gone ahead and planned out. Now, I'm not going to cover all of these just yet. God, we've got a cold heart on this account as well, by the way. This needs to be one of our next level 60 champs, but again, I'll get to that later too. Right now, this will be the dragon team that I recommend that we take into this dragon tournament, and I'm going to try and use this team to see if we can push towards stage 16 in Dragon so that we can secure ourselves some better rewards during the tournament, but also like stage 14, 15 would also be fine as well, right? Beggars can't be choosers. Now, I will also get to the arena team that I would suggest that we use to blast the hell out of Classic Arena 2. That was another thing that Mr. Zoro wanted us to focus on. He's just being outspeeded in arena by basically everybody, which is understandable when your Alice is 120 speed, you know? 165 speed-ish is like kind of like a rock bottom minimum for most of your nukers to be running at, you know? 120 speed, man, you aren't going to get to attack in before nobody. Now, I've gone ahead and actually planned out a build for the Alice that I'm very, very happy with on this account. Alice is a fantastic legendary because of her passive. Whenever she kills an enemy with a skill, she can reset the cooldown on that skill or reset the cooldown on one of her skills. It's great stuff, right? It's really, really good. It means that she's very, very effective even without the use of skill books. Now, this is the build that I went ahead and planned out for the Alice just a little bit earlier on, sort of off camera. We're just working on getting her crit rate bumped up to something approaching 100%. We couldn't quite get all the way there, but I was able to actually make some crit damage gauntlets work on Alice. And as such, her crit damage is going to spike by like 70%, which, for where this account is right now, that's like a stupendously good upgrade. Crit damage, of course, being the best stat in the game after crit rate for your out-and-out nukers, right? Your just big direct damage dealers. Her speed is sitting at 135, not great, but we can also roll these boots up as well, getting up to like at least 150 speed. So it's an improvement, you know, it's better than where we're at right now, and hopefully we can eventually get her fully ascended up as well and get like a good banner on the Alice, ideally like an attack banner. Accuracy could work as well, actually. In fact, this banner right here might not be too bad if it rolls into a whole bunch of speed. You guys can't see right now, but the stats aren't very good apart from the speed on this banner because my massive head is in the way, but is what it is. Some other things that I'm doing right here as I rebuild these champions, and I am actually just going to pull the trigger on this Alice rebuild and get this gear equipped, is you might have noticed I pulled the gear off of the Magna on this account and off of the Ruella. on this account. I'm a big believer that if you're trying to progress in your dungeons and stuff in the early game, it really helps out if you just pull all of the best gear sets that are kind of scattered around on your less impactful champions that you're not really using a whole lot. Oh my god, why was that headgear on the Magna? No, to think about it. You want to pull that gear off of your less used guys and just put it on your most powerful champions that are actually going to have the biggest impact on your account, right? They deserve to have the best gear because they're simply doing the most work and you're using them in the most areas in the game. I'm going to touch a little bit on what actually makes certain artifacts good. And you can see once again here we're pulling some gear off of Duck the Pierced in this case, just to get the best possible sets going and the best possible gear going on our Farrakhan, because this is going to be a very important champion for our progression on this account. In fact, I can also roll up some of his gear right here. And actually this artifact is a great example of the gear that I'm talking about, right? How do you know if a piece of gear is actually good or not in Raid Shadow Legends? For me, one of the ways that you can tell is, first of all, actually, I'll say this. The 3 most important stats in the game, in all of Raid Shadow Legends, are speed, best stat in the game, getting more turns in before your opponent, unfathomably powerful. Accuracy, certain champions simply require accuracy in order to land their negative effects against enemies, else they're just not doing anything. And the third is crit rate. Your nukas and your direct damage dealer nukas in particular need to be built with 100% crit rate total when you are building them out. And then only after that can you start to really maximize things like their crit damage and really push their damage like crazy as a nuka. But until they've got 100% crit rate on your nukas, you're not really getting a whole lot done. Now, the next thing I'll say is, how do you know if an artifact is actually good? Well, any artifact that's got speed or accuracy on it is covering 2 out of those 3 very important stats that we just touched on. And so that's a pretty good indicator. But another way that you can tell if an artifact is good is if the stats on the gear itself match the stats that you were getting from the set bonus, right? If you're equipping a champion in perception gear, you best believe that that's a champion that probably needs accuracy, right, to land their debuffs and their 10-meter decrease and stuff like that, and that also wants speed. Therefore, on your perception gear, any perception gear that gives speed and accuracy is like premium, because, well, champions that want to be in perception gear and get that perception set bonus want speed and accuracy, okay? So it's kind of common sense. In contrast to this, a set like a Cruel set right here, where we actually held on to one of the lower tier artifacts. Just move my camera over real quick. Speed is not quite as premium on Cruel. It's fine, you don't want your nukas to be very slow, but Cruel set, what does it give you? 15% attack and ignore 5% of enemy defense on a 2 set. It means that, yeah, you want your Cruel gear on your attack nukas, so what kind of stats are you looking for on your Cruel gear? You're probably looking to put it on your nukas and your damage dealers, so crit rate is excellent, crit damage is fantastic, and attack percentage is a nice little bonus. This trend also goes on, right? You can look at like the immortal sets as well. It gives you HP percentage and heals you by 3% for every turn. Well, you probably want some HP percentage on your immortal gear, which, I mean, this headgear doesn't right here. But speed is also fantastic on immortal gear because it heals you for 3% of your health for every turn. So the more turns that you are getting and the faster your champions are with those speed stats, the more the heal is actually getting triggered on your immortal gear as well. That's how you got to think about your sets, man, and that's how you judge a piece of gear in terms of its power level for a certain set. Anywho, let's see if we can get this team ready to farm a little bit of Dragon. What do we hit here? We actually get a double accuracy roll. Lovely. We get a little bit of speed as well on roll number 3. Okay, so great. As for the shield, the rolls here could go a little bit crappy, but I'm going to go ahead and roll this up as well, at least to a rank 8. See if we can just get 1 speed roll even. Great. Totally worth it. The boots are still really quite on the slow side. I'll just take these up to 12. I do not want to upgrade this gear too much on this account, by the way. Not only is silver a little bit lacking, but what I'm going to recommend, and if you're watching this video right now yourself and you're thinking about reworking your artifacts and upgrading your own artifact storage and doing what I'm doing in this video, but on your own account, wait until the final day of the Clan vs. Clan tournament before upgrading all of your gear to like rank 12, but certainly to rank 16, because in the final day of the Clan vs. Clan tournament, there's going to be a gear enhancement event starting as well. So you're going to be earning rewards from upgrading gear in the gear enhancement, and you're going to be earning Clan vs. Clan tournament points from upgrading your gear as well. So you're going to get some good double dippage there. So I want to keep the upgrades to a little bit of a minimum if I can on this account. Next up, we've got the glacially slow Michinaki, who's sitting at 107 speed. I can't even remember what build I planned out for Michinaki earlier. I hope it was a good one. What are we looking at here? Because he needs to gain a hell of a lot of speed. Okay, so we got some boots here that we could also roll up just a little bit further. Again, these are just some lifesteal boots. I'm not that concerned about benefiting from set bonuses and stuff on this Michinaki. I'm just treating this account as if it's like a month old in terms of gear, because it kind of is, right? This is just how much not collecting good 5-star artifacts on your account is going to set you back, and it's going to sort of like halt your progress on your account if you let it. The good news is that it's fixable very, very quickly, so that's great. We managed to bump the Michinaki up to 152 speed. Again, not wanting to roll these boots up to 16, so that's going to hold us back a little bit, but still a lot better than 107, okay? Progress by inches here, goddammit. Next up, we are massively, massively lacking an increased speed champion on this account that we're actually using. Haikatoon has been taken up to level 50. I'm not sure why she isn't built out. Increased speed as a buff, and I mean, we've already touched on just how good speed is as a stat in this game, and so it logically follows that a strong 30% version of an increased speed buff on all allies for a couple of turns is just one of the best buffs in the game. Flat out. And this, the fact that this champion is not built out on this account, by the way, to be nice and fast and to be getting you to go first against your enemies on this account, is precisely why we are struggling in Classic Arena as well, despite having ourselves He-Man and Alice, you know, and some good like arena nukers and stuff, right? We're just not fast enough to go first in Arena. And so the next thing that I did, just sort of off camera, was plan out a build for the Haikatoon right here. I'm actually stealing a bunch of gear off of the Deacon, by the way. The Deacon is a very, very high priority champ for us to build out on this account, but for now, I think the Haikatoon just about edges ahead of him in terms of priority, just because we'll be using her in roughly half of our dungeon teams, and in Classic Arena, and in Tag Arena as well. And so I think that I'm going to go ahead and make the gear swap and get this gear up on the Haikatoon, and once again, I'll take these boots up to 12 just now, but no higher. It rolls into accuracy, which is very, very good. And yeah, when building up the Haikatoon, of course, she's a support style champ. We just need her to be as fast as possible so that she can go first with her A2, fill the 10 meter of all allies, and increase speed in all allies for a couple of turns. And that's it. That's really her job. Her accuracy, we're going to have to make up with that. With accessories, banners, and stuff like that. But for now, I'm pretty happy to leave the Haikatoon build where it is. Well, I'm actually not. I'm not actually. I'd love to just roll the boots up to rank 16, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that for Mr. Zoro to do during gear enhancement. You know, man, moment of truth. Let's see if we can now progress a little bit into Dragon. At least try and push towards as close to stage 16 as we can. Anywhere in and around here will be good for us to farm during the tournament. And again, the gear sets themselves that are dropping don't matter. If we get some good speed set gear that does drop and rolls into a whole bunch of speed and accuracy substats, that's going to be fantastic, good stuff. But we're not that concerned about it. We're just looking for those 3 golden stats that we mentioned a little bit earlier on, right? Accuracy and speed and crit rate. Oi, 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 oi. This appears to be the team that we were running before, which never looked to me like it was going to do so hot, but this is our first time ever running into stage 14, which I expect to be quite difficult for us, given that Alice, our big wave damage dealer, is actually magic affinity, so she's going to be negative affinity into stage 14, but let's see how we do. Okay. Big ally attack coming in from the Farrakin, the Michinaki decreased defense, and decreased attack coming in as well. The Alice, yeah, weak hits a whole bunch against a bunch of nerds here, so hopefully we can just club our way through these waves. I think the waves are going to be the hardest part of this run by quite a lot, so let's see if we can get to the boss. Right, cool. We do actually make it to the boss relatively unscathed, which is a good thing. We instantly got to attack in as well with all of the skills that we've been saving up using the team AI, decreased defense, poisons, HP burn from the Farrakin as well. Yeah, I think that actually killing the boss itself should be the least of our worries, really. We should have what it takes. Of course, max HP damage, decreased defense, poison, HP burn, that kind of thing. Very, very effective indeed against the dragon. As you can see, it's going pretty okay. Bloody hell. Okay, way closer than I thought it was going to be. Any 4-star artifact, by the way, we instantly sell no matter what from now on. That's an instruction to you, Mr. Zoro, okay? We just get rid of them instantly, no thoughts about it. Stage 15 up next. This one is Spirit Affinity, so while our Husk is going to struggle to get impact off with his A2, our damage dealers, especially the Alice, as you can see, hitting a hell of a lot harder into the stage, so that's pretty good for us. Part of the reason that the Husk is in the team actually is just to land... Oh god, he weak hits so much there, dude. Part of the reason that he's in the team is just to try and stun up the waves a little bit and buy us a little bit of extra time against these waves. Yeah, him weak hitting against everything like that, little bit of a problem. Honestly, Miscreated Monster might actually do better than the Husk in this scenario. There we go, man. Just built out the Miscreated Monster. We've drastically improved his speed by quite a bit. We're also trying to build him out with a decent amount of crit rate because he does generate a shield on all allies based on the damage he deals with his A2, and so that's going to be great as well. You do kind of want to build out your Miscreated Monster with a good amount of crit rate. As a result, his accuracy is a little bit lacking. It is. Crit rate damage is a little bit crap. I mean, the guy's sitting at 5 stars. There's only so much we can do. Let's just go ahead and get him equipped up, right? A quick note, actually, for building out champs when you're just getting started as well. Crit damage amulets. Best in the game, of course, for your direct damage dealers and your direct nukers and stuff like that. Attack amulets, useless, okay? Scrap your attack amulets. They're always outperformed by crit damage amulets. Don't even give a damn about them. What I would say is look out for good crit damage amulets on your account when you're just farming Spider and stuff for the first time. And also any amulets that you can find with defensive stats, right? So things like HP or defense as the main stat, and then with accuracy as a substat, tend to be very good for building out your support champions that are going to be needing accuracy like 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the defensive amulets with accuracy substat and the crit damage amulets for your nukers are going to be kind of the premium ones to look out for. When it comes to banners, when you're farming Spider and stuff for the first time, oh my god, this is a really good banner. Basically any accuracy banner, even like a 5-star blue accuracy banner, doesn't really matter. Accuracy is the main stat, any defensive substat, and then speed as a substat. Fantastic, right? Very good. Very powerful stuff for building out your early game support champions. Okay, let's try this dungeon again just with Miscreated Monster now instead. So hopefully first wave just goes down pretty easy. The Alice is just lacking a little smibble of damage there to be able to just practically one-shot the entire first wave by herself, which is encouraging but also a little bit frustrating that we're just a little bit off, but she's still able to take care of business well enough. At least, so that's good. Gets us on to the second wave. Now the problem is, Alice I don't think got a cooldown reduction on her big AoE skill. Oh, she actually did. Okay, lovely. Yeah, she's got to get a kill with it, otherwise she's not going to get the cooldown reduction on that. But this time, at least, the Miscreated Monster is able to stun 2 out of the 3 packs of enemies. Hopefully that's going to be enough to get us through here. God, it's deeply awkward. We actually lose the Haikatoon along the way, man. So hopefully we've got enough in the tank here to actually take on the boss now. Obviously, these champions, actually 0 champions on this team are fully booked, so that's also a little bit of a problem, a little bit of a hurdle for us as well. So hopefully we can just about chew our way through this. Oh my god. It's really close, but we actually just about make it through. This chest piece right here, piece of crap, right? Lesson number 7 or whatever the hell, like, tip number that we've dropped in this video so far. Even if the substats are really good, to be honest, I'd still say that any gauntlets, certainly boots, any chest plate artifacts that drop that have a flat stat as the primary stat, right? So not like attack percentage or like crit damage or whatever, are also just simply auto cells. In fact, I'd recommend when dumping like 2,000 energy or something on this dragon tournament, we first of all enable super raids to save on some multi-battles. Go into our multi-battles option and enable the gear selling filter on this. We want to select the filters, want to automatically sell any 4-star or lower artifacts. They can just go straight away. When it comes to the likes of boots, honestly, for this account, because we have such few speed boots on the account, I'd just get rid of everything, auto sell everything that doesn't roll into speed as the primary stat is the way that I would do it. For chest, all of the flat stats on chest can just go. Resistance, honestly, at this stage in this account can probably just go as well. And then for gloves, attack percentage, pretty much no good. You're looking for crit rate or crit damage. Flat attack can also go, as can flat HP and as can flat defense. So we're just auto selling all of those artifacts, man. Hit confirm, and then restart our multi-battles. That said, something I haven't touched on this account is the way that we're spending the legendary skill bucks. We've put a couple of legendary skill bucks into He-Man here, which not really the best. He's a very niche champion. I wouldn't worry too much about him. We need to finish booking up the Michinaki. He's only like 3 skill bucks away. We might as well get this done as soon as the CVC begins. That's just a crapload of free CVC points, and we can finish booking this guy up, which is a big deal, right? Because his A2 is unbelievably good, right? Excellent, excellent stuff. That said, we did also put one skill book into the Alice as well. I'd stop that real quick. We don't need to be booking up the Alice. She's not a super high priority to get the legendary skill books on. And when it comes to the epic champions, oh god, it's a similar story there as well, man. We've put a few books into the Farrakhan the Fat, and then we put a couple books into Deacon Armstrong. Have we spread them out elsewhere? Oh no, dude, what is this? We've fully booked the Relic Keeper. Just not a very good epic champion, so a little bit sad to see the skill books having gone into the Relic Keeper. But as a general tip for using your skill books, pick out the best champs on your account. Oh, we spread them into the Fane as well. You want to fully book the best champs on your account and laser focus on getting these champions fully booked for things like the increased debuff chance on the likes of the Fane, and also the cooldown reduction as well is just very, very important to get done. Try not to be spreading your books out too much like this. There's a lot of like unimpactful books here that have gone into the Farrakhan, which is really, really sad. As a TLDR, during the CVC, we need to put all 3 of those legendary skill books into Michinaki, get them fully booked out, and then I'd go through all of the champions that we're going to be using in the Dragon Tournament, and I'd upgrade all of their gear to rank 16, prioritizing the boots on all of these champs to get them up to rank 16, get them moving nice and fast. Then I'd go to the Alice and I'd upgrade her gauntlets, right? Take up the crit damage, take up the chest plate for that increased attack. I think even the headgear is probably worth taking up to 16 as well, if not certainly 12. The boots on the Haikatoon are very, very high priority too, and that should make that stage 15 dragon clear just a little bit more reliable, right? Especially with the books into the Michinaki. Now, as for Arena, I went ahead a little bit earlier on and just sort of mapped out the team that I recommend we use. This is the team that we were using before. This is the new Arena team that I would recommend that we use into this. He-Man is the aura lead. I've also set up the team AI so that the He-Man opens up with his A3 instead of his A2, which he seems to prefer opening up with if you don't do anything to your He-Man. Better to have him open up with his big AoE hitter, in my opinion, especially if you're running him alongside somebody like a Glycad, who's going to be bringing all kinds of buffs to the table. And the more buffs that you put on a He-Man, the harder he hits, of course, which is great. The Glycad is also going to be bringing along an increased attack buff for all of your champs, which is going to help out the Alice. She's actually going to be a very, very hard hitter in this team too. But most importantly in this team, we now have a champion that can actually enable us to go first, right? So we're getting the speed aura coming from the He-Man, which is going to make our Haikatoon very, very fast. And so she can open up then with her 10-meter boost into an increased speed buff and just ensure that we get to attack in first. That's all just theory. Let's just see how the team plays out, shall we? We're going to go ahead and run this on double speed. Hopefully we get to go first. The Glycad's actually still faster than the Haikatoon at this time, which isn't by plan, by the way. Of course, the Haikatoon, once she has actually got her boots upgraded, she should get to attack in much, much sooner. Likewise with the Alice, she's so slow that even though we got 2 10-meter boosters on the team, the Glycad and the Haikatoon, she still goes last, like before a lot of our opponents here. So that's part of our problem, man. This is a speed issue, and it just highlights why speed is the most important stat in the game. And sweet Jesus, we actually lose, man. That's just how slow we are. Bloody hell. I'm just scanning through our arena opponents a little bit here. Everybody has more than double our team power, by the way. What I'd recommend here, honestly, is completely deleting our arena defense. I leave this for you to do, Mr. Zoro, if you want to do that. But I'd just put one champion on defense, make it like just a random rare champion or something, and just tank our arena rating. Go back down to silver if we have to. It's fine. Like, it's fine for a little while until we actually get our account built up and stuff a little bit. And at least farm that Dragon Tournament, you know, and get that speed gear in. If we're really, really struggling to find wins here, then it's not super ideal. Let's see if we can actually take on Mr. Iris here. He's got a very, very tanky looking Adeline, and of course he's still a lot higher than our current team power, but let's see if we can at least go first against this guy and get the jump on him a little bit. It looks like we will get to do that. Increase speed, 10-meter boost, He-Man comes in, smacks. For some reason, the Alice ridiculously decided to open with her with their queens, which isn't really ideal, but well, there you go. The power of speed going in the opposite direction, we just completely outspeed the hell out of this guy, and as a result, decimate his team before he can do anything. And that's really just the strategy of just a go first style arena team. That's nice and easy to make in the super early game. And alright, man, surely he will go down in just a second. And frankly, I'm gonna have to leave this takeover here. This is the kind of takeover where I could play this account myself physically for like 3 days, and there'd still probably be a good amount of work to do. But sad as it is, I do have to cut these things off eventually. Hey man, if you're looking to start off a new raid account in 2025, then make sure to get it done while the raid anniversary events are going down so that you can start a new account using my beginner promo link, get yourself Elnaril as your starter legendary, as well as 3 additional epic champions as you level up your account. Unbelievable stuff. You can also input good old beginner promo code Supreme6 to get your hands on Supreme Gallic as one of your starter void legendaries as well. That's also limited time, so don't hang about. Thanks